Welcome back. Welcome to another podcast session today. Again with my host, So.
So
That's right, the man, So. Got a lot of love from you guys. The first video. Thank you for that. Thank you so much for showing love. We appreciate you. So, again, today we have a very interesting topic, and so is the topic man. He's going to bring all the topics for conversation. What do we have today, So?
we're talking about artist branding. We're talking about different technologies that you could use to brand yourself as an artist. We're talking about AI. We're talking about music. We're talking about fashion. We're talking about a whole bunch of topics today. So you
Mm-hmm.
guys stay tuned, buckle in, and let's get started. So we're starting with fashion, image, and music. How style has become a part of the music passion. You had ASAP Rocky come up from Tumblr and become a music icon, starting from fashion, starting from his way of style, his dress. And he's combined that in terms of music and expanded it in terms of a niche and a artistic style that many audiences can branch to. We're looking at Kanye West, a goat in my opinion in terms of his concept and his collaboration with Adidas, his whole Yeezy collaboration and stuff like that. We're talking about Pharrell Williams with his Adidas collaboration with Human Nature, and he had a peak in terms of fashion and stuff like that. And we're talking about local artists in terms of how they can expand and their possibility of merchandise and stuff like that. So, does image matter more than talent, or does talent still play a part of the image for an artist? What do we think?
Image and talent, go hand in hand to a certain extent. It depends
Right.
on which one outdoes the other.
Right.
That's the thing. Nowadays, talent is something of the past, so to speak,
Right.
for some reason.
Right.
And image is, like you say, everything, like they say. So it depends on what you're doing, what you're in. Because show business is very important. And image is very important.
Right.
Talent is important, but I think image has overtaken talent for some reason.
I would agree. I would say that image is more of a priority nowadays for artists because that's what you're seeing constantly. Talent to the side, it's a lot of talented people, and social media has shown that it's a lot of talented people out there. But depending on your image, your reputation, your style,
Yep.
your niche, that really excels you as an artist compared to talent. Because anybody could be talented nowadays. Like you have so many people constantly posting on social media their takes, their artist reels, their their demo tapes, their audios and stuff like that. But what separates yourself from other artists is how you portray yourself to a wider audience. So I feel like branding and imaging is definitely a priority besides talent. Of course you need talent, of course you need musical ability, technicality, all that stuff, but branding and separating yourself from the hundreds of thousands of artists that are constantly posting what they have going on social
Mm-hmm.
media is key. Like you had Kanye West. Kanye West started in the 80s, 90s as a music icon and slowly introduced himself in terms of fashion and stuff like that with the polos, with the frat boy look. Then he evolved into the Yeezys, into the new trendy 2010s, 2020s look. Like that projected him as an artist compared as, a artist back in 2010s like Ludacris, let's say. He kept himself as an artist but didn't use that music fashion to keep that momentum going. So you have to find that balance between art and fashion and find out how that will capitalize and project yourself in the artist way. So we're talking about the 2000s, we're talking about the Tumblr era, we're talking about the SoundCloud era and the luxury era, and
Mm-hmm.
we're seeing how like eventually artists hit a crossroads on being authentic and at the same time catering to an audience that are looking for the trending things. So you have to find that niche. Um, Talking about authenticity and branding. So how do you find that middle ground in terms of, being an artist and being a brand? Do you think that artists can be a brand while still being true to themselves?
Um, you could, well, again, you're talking about music artists.
Right.
Well, a music artist, you can basically endorse anything, just like an athlete
Right.
today. Basketball player can endorse shampoo or whatever. Like you said, it's branding. It boils down to
Right.
image, and the image, connected to this branding. So the ambassadorial role, as far as sales campaign and advertising is concerned, if that's what you're talking about.
Right.
As far as music is concerned, you know, if you're doing a certain type of music, then the public will look for a certain type of image attached to that music.
Right.
Imagine, a certain rapper doing love songs or R&B. You'll be like, well, wait a minute. Yesterday he was talking about free smoke and no smoke and all the smoke, and now today he's all about, love and roses and Valentine kisses, and you're like, what the hell exactly? So it all depends on the artist. Some artists cannot be equated. They just can't. You can't. They can't be. You can't basically. They can't really brand anything in terms of, because they're just known strictly for what that is, and you can't really. They can't be employed in that area. They can't be, for real. They can't. You just can't do nothing with them,
Right.
because you like, what? Wait a minute. Why is he endorsing this endorsing that? It's not, the artist or the person has to be believable.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. The image has to be believable, and that's just it for that.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think that, you have to stay true to your image, um, but you also have to evolve as an artist. So you have to find that way to brand yourself in terms of being a market as a business and staying true to artistry and
Yeah,
stuff like that.
yeah.
And of course, when you start evolving and growing as an artist, you're gonna get sponsorship, brand deals, merchandise, and stuff like that.
Mhm.
But you have to stay true to that image regardless of the paycheck, because fans are going to recognize that. It's been
Mhm.
many times where fans have recognized, oh, he's a sellout, and then they fall off like that.
Yeah.
It happens just like that.
So you gotta be careful of what you endorse as an artist.
Right.
You have to. It's very, very important that you have
Right.
to.
A per
Yeah. Go ahead.
Go ahead. A perfect example is Sydney Sweeney with the American Eagles and Perfect Jeans campaign. Even though she's not a musician,
Mm.
she is an artist. We're talking about acting, we're talking about film, we're talking about media. That's an art form, that's an art media. But people peep like, yo, wait, hold up. Are you really for being an artist, or are you for being for a corporation? So you have to be careful with deciphering between, okay, does this really help me in terms of my artist statement and my artist purpose, or does this help me in terms of my income? So another thing is, artists need to just accept that the fact that they need merchandise, they need merch. And I feel like a lot of artists just think that their image alone is going to sell, but it'll be more viable as an artist for you to have merch, sell t-shirts, and people be like, okay, oh, what's that shirt like? What's that shirt? Who's that shirt from? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's that sweatsuit from? Who's that sweatsuit from? Who, like Kim Kardashian and Skims. Kim Kardashian saw a market in terms of activewear and capitalize from it. So you have to see what works best for you, and you have to capitalize from it. We're talking about, I'm saying, artists and creative industries. So you have to decipher between that. And I feel like a lot of independent artists disregard that and believe, oh yeah, just my image alone is going to sell. But you have to see how many avenues can you sell yourself from, whether that's merchandise, whether that's collaborations,
Yeah.
whether that's features. And you just have to decipher from that. So are artists becoming too business focused, or do you think that it's still a market in terms of talent?
Well, with the thing about musical artists, you can't really rely on just the music if you're trying to really make it.
Right.
I mean, look at the streaming platforms and what they pay. That's the other thing. So artists have to be, diversity. They have to diversify, their forms of income. You have to, if you're trying to really, really maintain some type of generational wealth or something, you know. Because if you look in the past, when artists wasn't doing much and just trying to rely on the music, and the music is not really theirs, this, that, and the third, as opposed to artists now who are really, like Rod Wave, his merch, he done, yeah, Rod Wave done, his merch, I think is grossing, I think the last time I read was, I don't know if I'm wrong, either 14 or 23 mil, I don't know, something like that, in around there, but he's in the seven figures with the merch. And that's just the merch. The thing is, an artist who connects with the fans or the audience, right, will further a connection through merch. If an artist buys something from that represents the artist, they feel connected with that artist. Physical connection too.
Right.
Like look at the amount of Michael Jackson memorabilia that's being sold alone today. Compared throughout the decades. Whether it's a shirt, a hat, whatever, the socks, the gloves, you name it. The amount of Michael Jackson outfits on Amazon are done sold and sold and sold. Exactly. It's almost like a cartoon character or a superhero character. How many Spider-Man outfits you've seen around? How many Superman out? Exactly. So it's the same thing. Just like a superhero, these artists are like a superhero to their audience, to their fan base, and they want a piece of the action, so to speak. So they will, no more CDs and no more stream. You can't, streaming is not tangible, so they need something tangible. So shirts, T-shirts, different memorabilia is how artists connect and how the fans connect with the artists as well. That's very important.
Yeah. You have to see the versatility in the market right now.
Mm-hmm.
You have physical media, you have digital media, and then you have all the media that is classic and foundational to music. So you have music platforms like SoundCloud, Spotify,
Yeah.
Apple Music, DistroKid, all that. So you as an artist have to choose, okay, other than all the streaming platforms with my music, how can I use other markets to get audiences towards yourself? So it's a lot of innovation in terms of marketing and stuff like that. Like we have like the use of AI, we have the use of virtual performances like going on Roblox or Fortnite. I know Travis Scott did a performance on Fortnite, and a lot of people, especially during his campaign in the 2020s, a lot of people actually, the Astroworld campaign,
Yeah.
a lot of people actually gravitated towards that, and it was actually a lot of kids that went and saw his virtual performance and were put on as a Travis Scott fan just alone from that. So like as an artist, you have to figure out, okay, it's so many avenues you could go through. But as an artist, you have to recognize, okay, what avenue specifically or avenues can I go through to capitalize as an artist specifically? So the whole idea of labels and the whole idea of managers and stuff like that, they're still important, of course. We have to give respect to the labels and the managers. R.P. Clive Davis, by the way, rest
Oh,
in peace.
well.
Yeah,
Oh.
he passed away yesterday.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he
Okay.
managed a lot of artists. Whitney Houston,
The biggest. Yeah.
yeah, the biggest of the biggest,
Alicia
bro.
Keys. He
Alicia Keys,
produced a lot of people in the industry. Very well known name.
yeah, bro. I'm saying, bro. R.I.P. Clive Davis. I know. Was he featured in the Michael Jackson? I'm not sure. Did he
He was
play a
in. I
part in
know
it?
he was in the. I don't know. I'm not too sure, but I know he was in the Whitney Houston movie.
Yeah, Whitney Houston movie. Like,
Yeah.
there's of course there's managers and labels that will give you, you know what I'm saying, those opportunities and stuff like that. But there's other avenues instead of just like going to a major label and not being guaranteed, you know what I'm saying, a foot in the door where you can use yourself as an artist and the abilities that you have and the technologies that you have in terms of, you know what I'm saying, managing yourself as an independent artist and projecting yourself as an independent artist to a larger market. So the next topic we're talking about is AI collaboration, the use of ChatGPT, Claude, and the niche communities and the trending fact that independent artists are succeeding more than those top tier artists. Like I've seen a lot of TikTok artists, a lot of content creators
Uh huh.
succeeding in terms of numbers compared to like people like Roddy Rich, Rod Wave, um, the guy that did the sexy drill, what's his name? Cobain, something Cobain. I forgot his name. You know what I'm saying? That explains enough. But is will labels become less important as technology proceeds and evolves itself?
Well, we're at the point in time when it's already the handwriting's on the wall. Yeah.
Hmm.
With the amount of artists out there, budding artists, artists who've made it without labels, The number keeps getting bigger. That's why the labels want to put their fingers and their claws into the profits of that too. So
Right.
they're trying to basically take over the streaming platforms,
Right.
either one way or the other. It's not a fair fight. It's not a fair fight.
At all.
The whoever has the most money, will be able to have the bigger budget to have the bigger sales and the streams and this, that, and the third.
Right.
And the labels are experts at this marketing, artists and stuff. They're experts. That's why I always tell artists, do what the labels do. Do what the labels do. You're not gonna beat them when it comes to expertise. They're surgeons when it comes to this. You just starting off.
Right.
What are they doing?
Right.
They are behind the scenes. Yes, they're pushing this and pushing that. Now you realize they're pushing bots and this, that, and the third. The labels know what they're doing.
Right.
You got to know how to adapt, right? And take their formula, adapt it to yourself as an artist. You have a single coming out, you have an album dropping, you have this, that, and the third. Bundle that with merch. Hey, you buy the album or whatever, show me proof and I'll mail you out a t-shirt or whatever. It's that simple. It's really, really, really that simple.
Yeah.
The amount of people who showed up to the Michael Jackson movie with Michael Jackson merch on, you'd be surprised. It fits the purpose. So what I'm saying is, as an artist, don't think you cannot do all you can do right away. Yes, you can, because the label starts even before the song drops. The money's already spent. The budget's already allocated. For distribution, advertising, playlisting, you name it. It's all in play. So you as an artist doing things on your own or from the mud, as you say, you have to be aware of how things are done and stop thinking that you know everything and you know how to do it.
Yeah.
Because you cannot be better than the labels that know what they're doing. They've been doing it for a longer time than you have. Study what they're doing, adapt it to yourself, create your own formula based on what they're doing, and you as an artist, and look at the data. A lot of artists don't look at their own data.
Right.
Spotify for Artists has the data. Why are you ignoring the data? It's there.
It's all there.
Look at the data. In which cities do you have the most followers and listeners? In which cities, look at the data. Look at what percentage of groups listen to you, male, female, and the age groups. It's all there.
Right.
And that's the problem with artists. They don't know how to do it or they just ignore the data. And that's the problem with them. They ignore the data and they rely strictly on the data of Instagram or TikTok or whatever.
Yeah.
Man, you need to go to where your songs are being streamed at, right? And look at the data of who's listening to your music and how often they are, and then which cities.
Yeah.
You know which cities is your biggest listeners? Hey, that's where your star should start. That's where you should do a show. It's common sense. Common sense. That's it.
Yeah, as an artist, you have to leave your ego at the door, regardless of where you at, what space you're in. If you're performing, if you're meeting with an executive, if you're looking at analytics, you have to leave your ego at the door. Because I know a lot of artists think, oh yeah, my musical passion, this, that, and the third. They let their passion get in the way of their reality. Like, especially when looking at analytics and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes if you're an artist in Philly, your most likely listeners might be across the globe, and you're going to have to accept that and use that as a catalyst for the involvement of your own growth as an artist. I feel like a lot of artists get that confused, and it's just like all the facts, all the data is there. You just have to go and look for it. And I respect the fact of labels and stuff like that, and the game behind labels. And you just have to think of yourself as a label, especially if you're going in as an independent artist and you don't feel like paying a $10,000 advance or $5,000 for a manager. You have to put your ego to the side and be like, okay, cool. This is where my market is. I'm gonna market there. And then once you get your market there, you can put that passion and evolve it and catapult your growth as an artist overall. So I feel like labels do play a huge part still for independent artists, for mainstream artists and stuff like that. But you still have to recognize that, okay, we got to look at the numbers. As an artist, you have to think as if you're a manager and an artist. Especially if you're an independent artist and you don't feel like having a manager, you have to play both roles. And I feel like people get lost in between the musical passion and be like, oh yeah, that's not true. You know what I'm saying? I got pulled so and so and so and so. Like I got 5 friends or 5 followers that constantly like my stuff, engage with my stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But all the tools are there for you to engage yourself and for you to catapult yourself as an artist. Now you just have to use those tools and figure out where specifically, location wise or time wise or day wise, how you can use that data to catapult yourself as an artist. I know Brent Fayez started off as an independent artist. He
Mm-hmm.
had one cuz that was looking at his analytics, and they used that method once IG came out with the whole analytics stuff, and
Yep.
catapulted himself as an artist using that same algorithm, recognizing where the most pull was from, and
Exactly.
now he's a mainstream artist.
Exactly. You have
And
to go with it. You have to follow the lead.
you have
That's
to.
just it.
You have to.
And stop thinking. A lot of artists throughout the years I've come across, they always talk about, well, I gotta make it in my city first. No, the hell you don't.
Screw
No,
that.
the hell you don't.
Screw that.
No, you don't. Who told you that? Why do people think like that? Especially, a black artist. Oh, I gotta make it. No, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't. Just remember that. Go with the data. The data is the most important thing. Go with that. Okay? Go with that. That's the lead right there. That's just the hack right there. Go with the data. And then you will realize where it's gonna lead you to.
You gotta go with the flow, bro. Like they said, bro, that's a tale as old as time. You gotta go with the flow. And it doesn't fail. Regardless, those numbers, the whole analytics thing, that stuff has been dated and in the works since pen and paper. Labels have tracked what region you're most popular at. They've
Yeah.
always kept the numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's just more accessible. So I feel like as an artist, one, you should be grateful in the time that you're at that you have access to it, because a lot of it was harder to access those numbers when you had pen and paper without the access to social media. And two, you should just use that as a advantage as an artist, especially if you have your own page, if you manage that, if you have several pages, then you can see, okay, wait, my music is trending in Chicago, okay, my music is trending in Indiana, okay, my music is trending in Florida. You have all the tools that you need.
Yeah.
You just have to put your ego to the side and recognize that this is a business. When you come into any specific artistic medium, especially if you want to make money from it, you have to recognize as yourself that it's a business. So you have to you
Exactly.
have to you have to put yourself in a mindset as a manager, but at the same time, don't disregard yourself as an artist. So you have to find that balance. And it's just like a lot of artists get lost in between that and stuff like that. So
Yes,
it's
indeed.
and like I said, the industry is always evolving. It's always stuff that's trending. It's always stuff that gets left in the past in terms of album format, in terms of dropping singles. The next topic is: do you think the album format is dying? Do you think artists need to drop albums these days, especially independent artists? Do you think they're better off dropping singles?
Um, it depends on where you are, with it. It depends on where you are because, if you budding just coming up, I'd recommend just the singles. And not just singles, but again, with today's way of doing things, the reels, the all that stuff, the reels, the stories, and because a lot of artists I talk to, everybody thinks a music video is gonna do the trick. How do you know if you drop a project? Let's say you drop 10 songs or 5 songs or EP, whatever. Before you drop the song, how do you know which song is gonna do well? Again, data. So you wait based on which songs does well, and then this particular song is doing better. Let's do a video for that. Let's do a reel for that. Let's do whatever about this song. Let's capitalize on that right there, that growth right there.
Right.
Because it only takes one song to take off. Y'all waiting for every song to take off. It's not going to
That's
happen.
not how it works.
You have to come into the game just one. Just one song. Now, if you're fortunate, two, three, that's fine. But usually, when one song takes off, another one will. Usually, along those lines. But you have to pay attention to what's going on in the business. A
Right.
lot a fatal mistake a lot of artists do is that they think because they dropped a song last month or 2 months ago, right? that they should forget about those songs as well. No, any song that's in your basically in your streaming data, any song that you've dropped in your catalog that's out there streaming, check out the numbers. A song you dropped a year ago or 2 years ago, if those numbers are consistently better than the songs that you dropped in ever since then that's the one. It how else are we gonna put this? That's the one.
Right.
That's the one right there. What else are you gonna do? That's what the people want. That's what the numbers are. The numbers don't lie. That's the one.
Right.
So that's the one you gotta reinvest in. I'm not gonna beat a dead horse. No, you're not gonna get nowhere. So you keep putting stuff and money behind a song that you want to win. No, put it out there and see what bites. See what the fishes bite, so to speak.
Right.
You know, if you keep fishing, right, and you try different bait and you realize, wait a minute, I keep catching fish when I use this particular bait, then that's the bait they're gonna get.
Right.
What more do I have to say? What else I gotta tell you guys? Like, that's it. Try it and see what happens. I'm willing to do the same thing. I tell artists the same thing. I will take my money and put behind you on a particular song I see that's doing its best because I know it can be done. I'm not even saying you do it. I say I'll do it with you. I'm willing to invest. So if I'm willing to put my money behind it too, then I'm serious about it. I believe in it and I believe in you. So what's the problem?
Yeah. As an artist, you have to be versatile. You have to be able to be quick thinking and know when to switch gears and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And just be open to changing the way you stylize your videos, the way you stylize your sound, the way you stylize your image, and just see what works. Because I put it like this: okay, you cast one net into the sea, you get one batch of fish. But if you cast three nets into the sea, you get three batches of fish. But one batch might not be the amount of fish that will be to the other two batches. So you have to broaden your scale and your niche and just be like, okay, I'm open to changing. And as an artist, for real, you should be open to changing. As an artist, if you're not open to changing, are you really an artist? Because you have to be open to, you know what I'm saying, evolving as a person, evolving as a creative, evolving as a musician. You have to be open to that sort of stuff. So just seeing what works and seeing what doesn't work and being accepting of, okay, my past style that I was working on for 5 years just fizzled out. Okay, let's go into a different direction. Don't be scared to change what what your style is like.
Didn't Michael Jackson change his style?
Facts, yo. Tell me about it, bro.
Okay.
Tell me about it. He went from what? From soul? No.
What he said?
He went from
I like the old songs. These are good songs. But I like the new ones better. And the beat. Doom, doom, ow. Yeah. The beat. I mean, come on now.
Yeah.
I should have had my hat.
Yo, you forgot.
Yeah.
But like, you know what I'm saying? Michael Jackson went from soul to disco to New Jack Swing.
You name it.
Like he, you know what I'm saying? He hopped from joint to joint. It's like, okay, some of his joints are misses. I won't lie. I'll be open to, even though I put him as like top 5, he has some misses. But it doesn't hurt to change your style and try. So as an artist, you have to accept that fact, and that's just a part of artistry. Like you just have to accept the fact that the industry is constantly changing, and it's always going to be something different that is trending, regardless if you're open to it, regardless if you agree with it. You're going to have to go with the flow. That's just an art. If you want to be an artist in a business, like I'll put an example. Big corporations, Target, McDonald's, Starbucks, all these big corporations, they had these stylized old school 2000s looks, like a cafe and stuff like that. And once they peeped modern minimalism was a trend, all these rebrandings came through, all these logo changes came. So if you see the big corporations doing these multi-billion-dollar companies, that's a market. That's the same market that your, you know what I'm saying, investors and your consumers are indulging in. Why not do the same? So we're going to talk about marketing. We're going to talk about branding. We're going to talk about imaging as an artist specifically in our next episode.
That's right.
But, stay tuned. Hope you guys enjoyed. Any other comments?
Yeah, if you have any questions or any comments, drop it down, in the section below, the comment section on YouTube channel, right? Or on Instagram, either way. All right, just hit us up. Let me know if you have any questions, anything you want to talk about. All right, I'll be more than happy to get back to you. We're more than happy to get back to you.
I like to say one thing.
Just go ahead.
Appreciate y'all for the engagement. We
Yeah.
love the support. You know what I'm saying? Stay tuned and just stick just strap in for this ride, bro, because
Mm-hmm.
we're gonna talk about a lot of stuff. So if you're an artist, if you're a creative, if you're looking to be an artist or creative, just watch our podcast and see what sticks to you and what helps
Yeah.
you specifically as an artist,
Yeah.
because we're willing to give you guys advice. So let us know any questions you guys have in terms of being an artist and creative, and we'll respond. We'll make it
Yeah.
our next topic. So
Also
stay
about
tuned.
music videos as well and all that. Music videos, whatever ideas, stuff like that. Should I do a music video? Should I not? Anything to do with music and that pop culture, whatever. We're there. And as for
100%.
my mask, I had a little surgery done, so basically I have to protect my face right now. So sorry about that, but hey, this is what it is. What it is. But thank you so much for being with us and checking out our podcast. Okay, so tell a friend, tell a friend. You know what I'm saying? Once again, John, SMG Vibes podcast, and this is so.
So
All right, y'all take care now. Have a good one. Stay blessed.
peace.